So he continues to explain over here in the parentheses, why is it that we're saying se'eno ur'eno, that you leave and go out of the levushim when we talk about ba'atoro she'itra loy imoy. When we're talking about the level of atorah, which is the level of keser. So over there we say you don't need any levushim. When we're talking about in Gan Eden, over there we have the levushim. Ashrei misha bolakan b'talmud biyodei, that the levushim are a necessary component. But when it talks about the level of atorah, we're saying that we don't need any levushim. So this is what he is going to explain now, continue to explain various different explanation why there is not necessary to have any levushim for the level of Atorah. So what he means to say that afal gav de galgalta govoiha b'moicha stimo, even though that the galgalta, the skull that surrounds, is higher than moicha stimo, that's the moichin of arichampin. Sharehu b'chinas keser da'arich. This galgalta is the keser of arich, as he called it before, keser, the keser. Arich itself is keser. This is keser of the keser. This is the keser of arich. But because it is a level of externality, it's only chitzonius. The galgalta is chitzonius. The kach yuchal leided ulis galis lamato beli levush. That's why it can descend and be revealed below without garments. Doesn't need seno. It goes out the garment. As opposed to the inner, which is the moichos timo, for it to come down to Gan Eden so that the neshama should be able to benefit from it, it needs garments. Ukinoida, as it's known, the chitzonius elyon yered lemato, that the externality of the upper one, of the higher one, descends below, even though it is an externality from a higher level, but because it's chitzonius, it goes down below. The chitzonius of a higher level can come down below to the lower level. That is through the externality of the higher level. So the higher level itself isn't coming down. It's the chitzonius of the higher level that comes down. The chitzonius of the higher level can come down to a lower madrega. This is similar to what is written elsewhere, the pirush, in the meaning of Kael Elyon, the supreme Kael. Goimel Chasodim Tovim, he is the one that brings about and makes the Chasodim Tovim, the good kindness, which means that from the highest level comes down Lamata. So it says there's Shenetzach Hoid Yusoid, which is the actuality from the Midas, is the Netzach Hoid Yusoid, that's the Chitzonius of the Midas. Shorshom Mehakeser, they are rooted in Keser, in Kelelia. Hainu, the fish, Bechinas, Netzach Hoid Yusoid, Heim Chitzonius Hamashpia, hayored umizgala lahamekabel. The level of Netzach Yisod are the externality of the mashpia that descends and is revealed to the recipient. That's the Netzach Yisod, as opposed to the Chesed Gvura Tiferes. That's the previous. But what comes down in the actually Goimel Chasodim Toivim, to do the Chasodim Toivim, that's the Netzach Yisod. So the Koyachiri Dazu and the power for the descent, I knew that comes from Kel Elyon, from the Keser, which is above Chochmah. Vai Mashakosu Bebiur al Posik. Vai Mashakosu Kaigavna Bebiur al Posik. Moshe Yedaber. The Inyan Klas Olmin the Nafkin Mitikuna Kadmo Chulu Einsham. Therefore, liyos ure'ena ba'ater Torah, to be in the level of re'ena ba'Torah, you don't need levushim because we're talking about chitzonius, and chitzonius can come down even without garments. That's one explanation. But in addition, which is the main point, the Rebbe is going to explain over here that it is a different kind of reception. When you receive things with the intellect, with the moyach, in hasoge, over there, but when you receive things with re'iyah, through vision, over there, we don't need the levushim. What is the meaning? And see. It says over there, similar to what is written in the Mamer, the biur of Chachlili Einayim. So over there, it says, Be'inyan talks about histaklus zo. The Arich Ampin. Seeing over there, he talks about Zeir Ampin, Zeir Zov Atzilus, gazes on the forehead of Arich Ampin. Mitzcha the Arich Ampin, that's the outside, the Gulgoilus, the Arich Ampin. And we say that the Zo looks Mitzcha. So it says over there, seeing is external. Basically, when you see, it's not a absorption that you absorb inside you, like understanding, like chokhmah, but rather this is a external way to receive something by seeing it. As opposed to the other powers, say, for example, the power of understanding or the powers of emotions, they are inner koiches. So, that what is the idea? That you gaze on the forehead of Arich Ampin, what does it mean it gazes? That the Zohar receives that way through its gazing, meaning that it gazes and it receives its mistakel, and it receives the 370 lights, which is associated with the level of Arich Ampin, the mitzvah of Arich Ampin. You cannot get it through the koiches of chokhmah, midas. You can only take it through the eyes in a external way, seeing it from the outside, which it doesn't go inside. So basically, when you are getting from such a high level, like Arich Ampin, or the level of the Gulgoylas, the Mitzcha, the Arich Ampin, even though it's a very high level, but we're not internalizing it. It's not coming down bipnimis, it's coming through Riyah. Riyah is Chitzonis. Now he's going to ask, why do we say Riyah is Chitzonis? But Chacham is called somebody who sees. So it seems like Chochmah is also the level of Riyah. But he says the Riyah of Chochmah is the externality of Chochmah. It's not the Chochmah itself. The Pnimius of Chochmah is the Chabad of Chochmah. But the Chitzonius, let's look inside. Bagam Sheinayim Hem Gamkin Mibichinas Chochmah, even though the eyes are also from the level of Chochmah. So here we're saying that the eyes are Chitzonius. Chochmah is Pnimius. The eyes come from Chochmah. That with Chochmah Yisahari, Bechinas Chochmah. That seeing comes from Chochmah. Shalakach, because it comes from Chochmah. That's why they're called the eyes of the community, is because they're the Chachomim from the community. So how do we say that the eyes are only externality versus Chochmah? Hello, so he explains, Sheha'inayim heim bechinas netzach v'hoid shebechochmah shenislap shebegashmis. The eyes are the netzach v'hoid of Chochmah that dresses up physically to be able to see. Mashe enken koyach hachochmah atzma, as opposed to the power of Chochmah itself, which is Chabad shebechochmah. That does not dress up in the level of Riyah. Okay. In order to be the revelation in Zeir Ampin, in Zoh, from the level of Mitzcha, Shehu Siyuma the Keser Arich, which is the end of Keser, the level of Arich of Keser, I Efsher Liyes Hagilui B'Pnimis Mamesh B'Chabad Zoh. That cannot be in an inner Mamesh in the Chabad, the Chochmah Bin Adas of Zoh. You can only come down because in Chochmah, that's the Pnimis, it can't come down from the level of Keser, because it's still the end of Keser, it's the level of Mitzvah. Rak b'bchinas einayim histaklus, only in a way of eyes and gazing. So this is the way it's explained over there, that he explains the histaklus zo b'mitzcha d'aricham. So he says, Valderech ze yuvan kan. So similarly, we'll understand over here, b'pirush, ure'ena ba'atorah, means to see in the crown. She'ein his galus zu k'moi his galus. She'mebichinas chochmei lo. This revelation that you see is not the same revelation that comes from chochmei lo. She'nimshach bebichinas seichel v'hasoger l'neshomes shebegan Eden. The Chabad Shalom, the level of chochmei lo that comes to the neshomes in Gan Eden in their Chabad, that comes in a pnimistic way, in a way of seichel v'hasoger, understanding and grasping to the neshomes in Gan Eden, their Chabad. That's why they need this garment in order to perceive that. That is when you get the hamshoche from the level of chochmah ilah. Avol gilu shemibchinazu, but the revelation from this level that we're talking about, the level of mitzcha, level of atorah, is gilu shemibchinazu loy niten lehanes boy bahasoga. That is not given. We can't enjoy it. You can't benefit it by grasping. Why? Kihu lemailo mekoyach asogya. This is beyond being able to grasp. It's only in a level of seeing. Just seeing, just plain similar to what we said before. That's why you don't need talks about the Dibur HaMaschil, Schanon El Hashem, Pirush, Eretz, or Oretz, but it also talks about seeing the land, a similar idea. It gives a further explanation in this idea that by the Atorah we don't have Levushim. We can further say about this. Similar to what is written elsewhere with regards to the three levels. Mozain, levush, bais. There is food that's eternal. Levush is a garment that's external, and then you have even a further makif harochek, a further external, which is bais, which is the house. That corresponds. That fills the world. That's the mozain. Sevim kolam is the levush. That's sevim kolam. And then the bais mashalamaylam is sevim kolam. That's what's even higher than that surrounds the world. Likewise by a person, mozain who are pnimi b'chinas Torah. A person, when the mozain, the food is, that's the inner light, that's the level of Torah, as the pasuk refers to Torah as lechu lachamu b'lachami, that they should eat the bread. So the bread that is lachami, go eat my bread, which is love of Torah. Ulevushim, and then you have levushim. Mitzvahs, that comes from the mitzvahs, you get the levushim. Ba'yidei levushim elu yuchal lehones ulekabel ha'oro mibchinas levusha al yin shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Through this levushim, you are able to benefit and to get a ray from the supreme levush of HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chinas sefer kol almim, that is nimshach into Gan Eden for the neshamas to benefit. So those are the two levels of Torah mitzvahs, the mozain and levush. But then there is the higher level, which is higher than mozain and levush. But the level of Torah she'itrachulu, mashalemaylo b'chinas sefer kol almim. That is which is even higher than sefer kol almim. This is even higher than what we say levush malchus, which is the madrege of sefer kol almim. But this is higher. Bechinas keser malchus. This is the keser of malchus, not levush malchus, but a keser malchus, which is bechinas makif lemakif. It's a level of a makif. Kivon shu lemaylo mishoydesh halevushim. And since the level of Torah is higher than the root of the levushim, higher than sefer kol almim, imkein lo shayich liyes ure'eno alidei halevushim ba'arena ba'Torah alidei halevushim. So it doesn't apply to see the eno through the Torah levushim. Lochein nemar. That's why it says se'eno me'halevushim. You have to go out of the levushim or the eno ba'Torah and see love ba'Torah. Okay. Ve'efsher loymar. It says further that the pirush se'eno, what do you mean go out? Al derech asher kosu b'mokom achar b'pirush similar to what is written elsewhere in the explanation of Bnei Yisrael Yoitzim Biyadrama. They went out with a raised up hand. Sheyoitzim min hakli ugavul. Yoitzim means they go out of the vessel and the limitations and the boundaries. Yes, nefesh, that is to raise the soul. The kayem mashekosu, to fulfill what the verse says, Eilecho Shem nafshi es. I will raise my soul to you. Go out of the limitation. That's tse'eno. Up till now, we were teaching tse'eno, that to go out of the levushim. All the explanation. Here is teaching in tse'eno, to go out of limitations, to raise to Hashem. U'bechinas teshuva ilo chulu. That's the level of the supreme teshuva. Which is higher than the levushim that come through Maisa mitzvahs. There's the level of tshuva. Tshuva is higher than mitzvahs. And that brings to Elech Hashem Nafshi Eso, that you go out from your limitation. Soif Divra Hamaschil, Hashemayim Kisi, Gabei, Eizabayis, Asher Tivuli. Okay. So, you go back to the end of the parenthesis, next to the Pnim, now, this level of Ator and Keser, who Asher Hanishom is Davke. Who accomplishes this level of Batorah, to be able to reach this higher level that comes through the neshamas in this world, is mamshichi daf alidei bechinas abitul rotzin. They bring this down through the level of subjugation of their will, b'kiyum hamitzvahs ma'asis, by fulfilling the practical mitzvahs. And this it says, the crown that his mother has crowned him. His mother has crowned him, the neshama shumokir haneshama shenikra imay. The source of the neshama, which is called his mother, this, because that's the source of the neshamas. That's the crown that comes from the source of the neshamas. So what happens here? The neshamas, through their mitzvahs, maisiyas, doesn't mean that they're making the crown then, but they're putting on the crown. It is not that the neshamas are making the crowns are new, actually, as HaTorah now. They're not creating now the Torah. Because we explained earlier, that the root of this HaTorah comes from the level of the Galgalta of Arich Ampin, which is rooted from the level of Makim Sev Kulam. It's not that it extends from the level of Bina, of Ema, Elorag, Bechinas, Bechinas Hamshoches. It says Mi Bechinas Ema, right? It says Mi Bechinas Ema, not Bi Bechinas Ema.
No, Mi Bechinas.
It says Bi Bechinas?
No, Mem.
Mi Bechinas. Loi shenim sheches mi bechinas ema levad. not that it just comes down from level of Ema, which would be a pnimius, I guess. Because we call it, I guess, Imay. But it's Hamshochas HaTorah is Keser or Makif al Roishoy. Shem Yut Sfiris Datzilus Chulu. Roishoy, that's the 10 Sfiris of Atzilus. And we're mamshich this to be an Torah, to be a Keser for it. Who Asher Tolui Bahane Shomes, to be mamshich Keser, that hinges on the soul. Sheheim HaMamshichim, Shemamshichim Liyos Nitan HaKeser Malchus Beroishoy. What they do is they bring down that the Keser Malchus should come down on the head of the king. So they're not making up the Keser, but they're mamshich that the Makiv, the Atorah, should come down. Say, for example, the custom of the world is a Keser v'Atorah shenoisnim al rosh hamelech basar v'dam, the crown, the Atorah that you place on the head of the king, flesh and blood, when you crown it. So what happens? This crown, this Atorah, that's already been created in the past. Through the craftsman who knows how to create the crowns. So what happens during the crowning? During the crowning, we're not making up the Atorah, but because that's been before. When we adorn the king, we place it, that crown, on the head of the king. As the pasuk says in the Megillah, "Asher nitan keser malchus beroishoy," on whom you put the keser malchus on his head. This is the meaning, the idea, the crown that his mother crowned him. That they brought down the crown and the keser, so to speak, ma'arich ampin, from the level of arich ampin. Liyos nimshach al yut sfiras atzilus kulu, the 10 sfiras of atzilus, and eser sfiras the zoh, the 10 sfiras of zoh. V'ayim ashakosu, the parshas b'midbar Sinai, v'biur al-posik su chulu l'gul g'loisom, ve'inyan hamshochas ha-keser lezoh b'shvuos, V'ayin b'migdash melech parshas acharei b'daf samach vav amud beis gabe b'atorah she'itr lo'im mashikosu b'shem sefer emek hamelech. Okay, let's leave it over.